Hi everyone. In this video, we will understand the basic concepts of LCM and HCF and also the difference between them in a very simple way. First, let's understand factors and multiples. Then we learn HCF and LCM and finally the difference and the uses. Now first coming to factors. What are factors? Factors are the numbers that divide a given number exactly. So in simple words, what can I say? The tables in which the number appears are called as factors. The tables in which the number appears. What does it mean? Let me explain it with an example. I take 20. We are going to see 20 appears in the tables of which numbers? Okay. Does 20 appear in one table? Yes. 120 is a 20. So 1 is a factor. Does it appear in 2 table? 2 tens are 20. So yes. Does it appear in 3 table? 3 into any number, will it give you 20? No. So 3 is not a factor. Does it appear in 4 table? Yes. 4 fives are 20. Does it appear in 5 table? Yes. 5 O's are 20. Does it appear in 6 table? 6 into any number, is it 20? No. So 6 is not a factor. Does it appear in 7 table? No. Does it appear in 8 table? No. What about 9? No. What about 10 table? 10 toes are 20. So it appears, so 10 is a factor. Does it appear in 11? In 12? In 13? Does 20 appear in any of these tables? 14 table? 15 table? 16? 17? 18? 19? No. 20 doesn't appear in any of these tables and 20 next appears in the table of 20. So these are the factors of the number 20. The tables in which the number 20 appears are the factors of this number. So some points you need to remember about factors. One is always one and itself are always factors of any given number. 1 is the smallest factor and itself is the largest factor of the number. And the next thing that you need to remember about factors is factors are limited, are finite. If you take the number of factors of any given number, it is always finite. Finite number of factors only you have for a given number, because the number itself is the largest factor. It cannot go beyond that. So there is no chance of the number of factors becoming infinite. The next thing you have to remember is factors are the numbers which are always less than or equal to the given number. If you take, for example, 20, if you take any of the factors, you don't find any factor which is greater than 20. So factors are always less than or equal to the given number. So these are the things you have to remember about factors. Now let us come to multiples. What are multiples? What do you mean by multiples? Multiples are the numbers we get when we multiply a number by 1, 2, 3 and so on. So what does that mean? In simple words, I can say multiples of a number are the numbers that appear in its table. Numbers that appear in its table. Again, I am taking the example of 20. Tell me the numbers that appear in 20 table. 21s are 20. 22s are 40. 3s are 60. 4s are 80. 25s are 100. 120 and so on. So these are the multiples of the number 20. That is, the numbers which appear in its table are the multiples of the given number. So here what are the points to be remembered about multiples? Multiples are always infinite. They are infinite. Because we have infinite numbers, if a number is given, you need to multiply this number with the infinite numbers to get all the multiples. So multiples are always infinite. And the next thing is multiples are always greater than the given number. Greater than the given number. So if I see the multiples of 20, they are 20, 40, 60 equal to or greater or equal to, okay, or equal to the given number. The multiples are always equal to or greater than the given number, like 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. There is no chance that the multiple is going to be less than the given number. So these are the two things that you have to remember. So the basic difference between multiples and factors is factors are finite and always less than or equal to the given number, whereas multiples are infinite and greater than or equal to the given number. Now that we have learned about multiples and factors, let us come to the next concept of HCF. So what is HCF? HCF stands for the highest common factor. So it means that the highest number that divides both the numbers exactly is called as the HCF. Again, let us understand it with an example. If I take two numbers, 12 and 18. Okay. So tell me the factors of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. Similarly, tell me the factors of 18. 1, 2, 3, 6, yes, 9 and 18. These are the factors of 18. Now what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to see which numbers are common, which are the common factors. Okay, let us circle the common factors. 1, it's 1. 2 is a common factor. 3 is a common factor. 4 is not in 18, so next common factor is 6. Yes, these are the common factors. So if we got the common factors as 1, 2, 3 and 6. But what does HCF means? It is the highest common factor. So the highest common factor is, or the HCF of 12 and 18 is 6. This is how you find out the HCF of two given numbers. You write down the factors, then you circle the common factors, and in those common factors, which is the highest common factor, becomes the HCF. Next, we understand what is LCM. LCM stands for the least common multiple. Okay, what do you mean by least common multiple? LCM is the smallest number which is divisible by both numbers. Okay, LCM is the smallest number which is divisible by both numbers. So for example here, again I take the example of 12 and 18. Okay, so what are the multiples of 12? Multiples of 12 means the numbers which appear in the table of 12. So 12 ones are 12, 2s are 24, 36, 48 and so on. And what are the multiples of 18? 18, 18 2s are 36, 54 and so on. Now next, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to find out the common multiple. Okay, so which is the common multiple in 18 and 12? 36 is the common multiple, and this appears to be the least common multiple. So the LCM of 12 and 18 is 36. So in order to find the LCM, you need to write out the multiples and next to find the common multiples and then see which is the smallest common multiple, the least common multiple, that becomes the LCM. Understood? So this is how we find out the LCM and HCF. Now let's take a quick recap of what is LCM and HCF and note the difference. So HCF is basically what? HCF is the highest number that divides both the numbers exactly. And LCM is what? LCM is the smallest number which is divisible by both the numbers. Divisible by both the numbers. Now, if you see the major difference between LCM and HCF, what is HCF? HCF deals with what? HCF deals basically with factors. It deals with factors. LCM deals with multiples. And the next difference, what do you find here? LCF always looks for the biggest one, biggest number, whereas LCM looks for the smallest number. These are the two differences between LCM and HCF. Okay. Now, let us proceed to the next part. Where do we actually use this HCF and LCM? What is the use of learning about HCF and LCM? Okay. We use HCF. We use HCF when we want to divide something into smaller equal parts. When we want to divide something into smaller equal parts, we use HCF. For example, if I want to divide 12 and 18 into equal groups, if I want to divide 12 and 18 into equal groups, then I use this HCF. As we have found out 12 and 18, what is the HCF? What was the HCF of 12 and 18 we have found out? 6. Yes, 6 is the HCF of 12 and 18. So if I want to divide 12 and 18 into two equal groups, you have to use the HCF. Now, where do you use the LCM? LCM is used when we want to find a common multiple or when two events happen together. When we want to find a common multiple or when two events happen together. Suppose if I say one bell rings every 12 minutes. One bell rings every 12 minutes and another bell, second bell, rings every 18 minutes. If I ask you to find out when these two bells ring together, the first bell rings every 12 minutes and the second bell rings every 18 minutes. Using this thing, you have to find out when both bells ring together. Ring together. When will they ring together? They will ring together in the LCM. If you find out the LCM of 12 and 18 is 36. So, every 36 minutes, both the bells ring together. So, this is how we find out, this is how we use LCM and HCF. I hope it is clear. Let me just give a quick recap of what we have learned. First, we have learned about factors. Factors are nothing but the numbers, the tables in which the number appears. We have found out the factors of 20 and some points to remember regarding factors. Next, similarly, multiples. Multiples are nothing but the numbers that appear in its table. Similarly, we have found out the multiples of 20 and then some points to remember about multiples. Next, we have learned HCF, highest common factor. We have explained it with an example of 12 and 18, how we find out the HCF. Next, LCM, that is the least common multiple. Again, we have taken the example of 12 and 18 and found out the LCM. Next, we have seen the difference between HCF and LCM. HCF deals with factors, LCM deals with multiples. HCF chooses the biggest number, LCM chooses the smallest number. And next, we have learned when actually we bring to use this HCF and LCM. That is, when we want to divide into equal groups, we use HCF. You want to find out the common multiple or when two events happen together, you use the LCM. We have explained it with the example. Hope the HCF and LCF concepts are clear. You can try with other numbers also for practice. Okay, in the next video, I'll show you a quick shortcut to find the LCM and HCF easily. So stay tuned. Bye-bye.